Welcome back to Global Thrills and Tastes. Today we're in Islands of Adventure at Universal Orlando, checking out what's new, what's changing around the park, some hidden details a lot of people miss, and some of the best rides, food, and experiences you should know before your next visit. From major updates in coaster thrills to water rides, snacks, hidden gems, and some of the coolest themed areas anywhere in Orlando, we're covering a little bit of everything today. So, whether this is your first visit or your 50th, come hang out with us. All right, let's get into it. 2026 is shaping up to be a pretty big year for Islands of Adventure. There are several changes happening around the park right now, and depending on when you're watching this video, some of them may already be finished. Now, one of the biggest things people have been talking about lately is the future of Lost Continent. Now, if you've never been to Islands of Adventure before, Lost Continent is one of the original lands from when the park opened back in 1999, and honestly, it has become a shell of what it used to be. A lot of the original attractions over here have already closed over the years. Poseidon's Fury is gone, the Sinbad Stunt Show is gone, Dueling Dragons is long gone. Anyone but me remember that one? And Universal has permits involving demolition work in that area. Now, thankfully, Mythos is still standing. And honestly, that's good because Mythos is still one of the coolest restaurants in any theme park. Even if you're not planning to eat there, the Mythos building itself is worth walking through just to see the atmosphere and design. The rockwork, waterfalls, lighting, it still feels incredibly immersive. But now that construction has started ramping up, expect walls, detours, and probably a lot of changes over time. Another big update around the park is Express Pass. If you've been to Universal before, you already know Express Pass is basically Universal's skip the line system. And for right now, there's a bit of a controversy in the Express Pass world. For years, one of the biggest rides that didn't include Express Pass was Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. For now, though, Hagrid still has Express Pass access, but as of July 1st, 2026, it will no longer be the case. And honestly, that's huge because Hagrid's regularly pulls some of the longest waits in the entire resort. I'm talking 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes more. So, having Express there was a pretty major game changer for people trying to get a lot done in one day. Now, one thing that is unfortunately expected to be closed for a pretty long stretch is Jurassic Park River Adventure. And honestly, that's kind of sad because it's one of the classic Islands of Adventure rides. But don't worry, there are still plenty of rides around this park that will absolutely soak you if that's what you're looking for. And trust me, we'll get there. So let's work our way around Islands of Adventure, land by land, starting here at Port of Entry. Port of Entry is basically the entrance area of Islands of Adventure. And unlike Disney, where you immediately get giant castles or icons thrown in your face, Islands of Adventure kind of eases you into the experience. This whole area is more about atmosphere, the music, the waterfront, the themed buildings, the little details everywhere. Honestly, it's one of the most underrated places in the park to just slow down for a few minutes, especially early in the morning or late at night. At night, especially, this area looks fantastic. The lighting reflecting off the lagoon, the music playing, the crowds thinning out a little. It's honestly one of my favorite parts of the park. There's also shopping all over this area. You've got the Islands of Adventure Trading Company, holiday shops, candy stores, little side stores with souvenirs and apparel. And honestly, this is one of the best areas to save for the end of your night because a lot of these stores stay open after the rides close. That's actually one of the best little tips in the park. Instead of fighting the giant crowds rushing towards the parking garage at closing time, hang out in Port of Entry for a little while. Do some shopping, take pictures, enjoy the atmosphere, let the exit crowds die down a little. Now, food wise over here, Croissant Moon Bakery is actually a pretty solid breakfast stop. You can grab pastries, breakfast sandwiches, coffee, lighter breakfast options, and it's usually way calmer than trying to squeeze into Starbucks first thing in the morning. Another place worth mentioning is Confisco Grill, and this place actually has a really fun backstory. The idea is that all the confiscated items from adventurers exploring the islands ended up here. So if you eat inside, take a look around the walls and shelves, because there are hidden props and little Easter eggs all over the restaurant. Honestly, even if you're not eating there, it's worth stepping inside just to look around. All right, now let's head into Marvel Superhero Island. And this land still feels like stepping directly into a comic book. Everything is oversized, colorful, loud, exaggerated, and in the best way possible. It almost feels frozen in time in this really fun retro comic book style. And honestly, I kind of love that Universal has kept it this way. This area also has some of the biggest thrill rides in the park. The Incredible Hulk coaster is still one of the signature attractions at Islands of Adventure. And if you've never ridden it before, just know this thing launches immediately. There's no slow climb up the hill. You get shot out of the tunnel almost instantly. Then it's basically chaos from there. Loops, inversions, corkscrews, the whole thing. And it is loud, too. You can hear that roar from all over the area. Then nearby, you've got Doctor Doom's Fearfall, and I swear this ride always launches you before your brain is emotionally prepared for it. Like your body knows what's about to happen, but somehow you're still not ready. Now, honestly, my favorite ride in this land is still Amazing Adventures of Spider Man. Even after all these years, this ride still holds up ridiculously well. It mixes physical sets, screens, movement, lights, heat effects, sound effects, water, and somehow it still feels more complete than a lot of newer screen rides. The pacing on this ride is fantastic too. There's always something happening. And one of the coolest details is that Stan Lee appears multiple times throughout the attraction. So next time you ride, keep an eye out for him. Now, food in Marvel is honestly pretty standard theme park overall. Nothing terrible, but not really where I'd prioritize eating either. Still, if you've got picky eaters in your group, this area works. And if you're a comic fan, definitely check out the comic shop because they usually carry actual comics and graphic novels instead of just generic merchandise. All right, now let's talk about the area where your shoes are probably getting destroyed, Toon Lagoon. And I mean this sincerely. Nobody gets off these rides dry. Nobody. Popeye and Bluto's bilge rat barges might honestly be one of the wettest rides anywhere in Orlando. And Dudley Do Right's Ripsaw Falls somehow finds a way to make things even worse. Especially that final drop. Look, these rides are absolutely worth doing on hot Florida days. But just understand what you're signing up for. You're not getting splashed, you are becoming part of the water. Like there's a real chance your socks will still be wet later that night. Now, outside the rides themselves, Toon Lagoon has a ton of visual jokes and hidden details everywhere. Speech bubble props, funny signs, random little comic gags hidden around corners. The entire island is basically one giant cartoon. And honestly, I kind of love that Universal never modernized this area too much because it still has this weird old school comic strip charm to it. Now, food wise, you've got places like Blondie's, Wimpy's, Comic Strip Cafe, mostly classic theme park comfort food. Burgers, sandwiches, fries, pasta, stuff like that. And honestly, Wimpy's Burger is actually pretty decent. All right, real quick, before we keep going, if you're enjoying the video and you like this kind of theme park content, food reviews, park guides, and just hanging out around Orlando with us, make sure you subscribe to Global Thrills and Taste. We've got a lot more Universal and Orlando content coming very soon. All right, moving on. Skull Island is probably the smallest land in the park, but it still has one really solid attraction, Reign of Kong. Now, this ride is mostly screen based, but Universal did a really good job of making it feel immersive. The atmosphere walking into the area is fantastic. The giant walls, the drums, the fog, the massive gates. It really makes you feel like you're entering something ancient and dangerous. And honestly, the animatronic Kong at the end is still really impressive, like genuinely impressive. And also nearby, there's usually a snack stand with random themed frozen drinks and snacks. And yes, there's usually banana stuff. Because of course there is. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. As usual, if you got anything out of this video, please go ahead and like this video, comment below, and subscribe. And as usual, thank you for joining us.